are everything you're looking for in a sports car, plus you get 2 extra seats.
Which you need.
Which you do need. Never really been a big fan of Mazda, but that was until I actually drove the RX-8.
It feels organic. It feels like you're connected. And I'd much rather that than luxury any day.
Finally driving the Infiniti G37S.
The Nissan 370 is like a perpetually single triathlete and model, and the G37 is her high-class sister that moved to Orange County and had 6 kids. But ultimately, I miss the more hardcore feel.
I really love this car. Yes, the Infiniti costs $13,000 more than the Hyundai, but it's very clear where the money goes. The Infiniti is a car I just can't help taking a second look at. From a side view, the Infiniti is a really classic sports car shape. Now take a look at the line that starts at the headlight, goes all the way through the shoulder, comes around to the trunk, and meets right at the spoiler. Look how delicate that line is. That's what I'm talking about when I say refinement.
This is a pretty car. In fact, I think it's one of those rare cars that is more attractive in person than it is on camera. The only real misstep is the chrome spoiler in the back. It really should be body colored. It's kind of like a really attractive woman wearing enormous jewelry. It kind of ruins it.
This car is gorgeous. I can't wait to drive it again. Now, when you're sitting inside the Infiniti, you're gonna notice how similar the car is to the Hyundai. It's uncanny, and even though it's so similar, it's just executed so much better.
All the materials are nicer. Every one of the plastic touch points is soft. Across the board, the interior is high quality and refined. There's more room in the rear than there is in the Genesis. In fact, the seats are a lot deeper, and if you're actually close to 6 feet tall, you could think about getting back there. I'm not saying you'll enjoy it, but you could actually make it happen.
Another thing in the Infiniti you're gonna notice is how good these seats are.
For whatever reason, these seats feel great initially, but after very long, they start to hurt my back.
I think Todd is a bit of an alien for liking the seats in the Hyundai. But then you have Infiniti's signature clock. It's not an expensive feature, but it really makes a nice look to the car.
When you've got a 7-inch navigation screen, I think you can let the analog clock die. That's vital real estate. And I know everyone is saying that's historical and it connects back to the brand. This isn't Rolls-Royce here.
People who are buying this car look for something just a little bit more than function. That's why we put art on our walls. That's what the clock is in the Infiniti. I love a really hardcore sports car, but I don't want to drive one all the time. There's still a lot of performance lurking in the chassis, engine, and brakes of this car. So it doesn't mean the Infiniti can't perform.
Because this is a bit more luxurious, all of your inputs feel just a split second behind. Now in a highway cruising situation, that's not a big deal, but a split second can be a really big deal when you're chucking it around a canyon corner.
The Hyundai is more chuckable through a corner, yes, but I have a lot more confidence than I do the Hyundai. It really settles through corners a whole lot better. And as much as I like this Infiniti, I think the steering is way too overboosted.
There's no question that the G37 can handle well, but because the steering is so light, you don't realize just how fast you're going.
You can get so much speed in the Infiniti. I'm just continually amazed at how much power this car has.
There's no question it has great power, but this engine really needs to be up high in its rev band to really wake up and give you all the power you're hoping for. The inexplicable thing is that the exhaust note on the G37 sounds better than the 370Z.
It really reminds me of an American V8. I guarantee you, you're going to be going fast in this car. You can absolutely rely on these brakes. They're heroic.
Same engine, same brakes as the 370, and you can tell. The G37 is targeted at those people that like the 370Z, but find it a little too hardcore.
This is a car that you don't have to make excuses for. It's comfortable when you're driving slowly, and it really comes alive when you want to hammer it.
This is a grand touring car. You could take a huge road trip in this, and if the road got a little bit windy, you'd still have a lot of fun. But if I'm going to buy a sports car, I don't want it to shield me from anything. I want to be completely involved, maybe over-involved. And the G37 isn't built for that. I gotta say, they didn't do anything like I expected.
Well, it kind of did for me.
Okay.
Although there's a contender right in the middle that was really surprising.
So something about, you like the Mazda?
Well, I hate Mazdas in general.
I know.
We all know this, but I was ready to hate this car, and it surprised me. It was really a pleasant surprise.
It's a lot of fun.
It's
I
really
agree.
a hardcore sports car, though.
All right, yeah.
So the people that are getting it are really more into an enthusiast driving.
Well, and it's so unique. You either get it or you don't. If you don't
It
get
is.
it, there's no talking you into it.
It's really one of those two.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's my number 2 car.
Well, it's my number 2 as well. But my number 1 is
Okay.
the car that does everything well, and that's the Infiniti.
Of course, you went for luxury over everything else, didn't you? Of course you
It does everything better.
Everything-
It sounds
no.
better, it's faster, it corners better, it brakes better. It's
It
got
sounds
the
better
Nissan
than-
performance brakes
Yeah,
on it.
those are great brakes.
Fantastic.
It sounds better than the 370Z, which is a tragedy. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The Genesis sounds almost as good as the Infiniti does, and it's a freaking Genesis. It's a Hyundai. What's going on?
Yeah, it
That
sounds
is
like a South Korean gong when you shut the door.
Well, so
It's-
does that. I'm sorry, and that's not from Korea.
Well,
These doors don't sound that
it's
much
a
different.
little bit better.
A little bit if you're measuring by millimeters. The point is, that's an enthusiast car, and that's why you buy that car. The faster you drive that, the more fun it gets.
That's all you can do with it. It's a one-trick pony.
And?
You can't drive that fast. You can't drive 9/10 to the grocery store and back. And
Why do you need a
around
supermodel?
town.
It's not for the brains.
It sucks
Hello?
on the freeway. You're
Who
gonna
cares?
You're going to want to kill yourself on the freeway.
So don't road trip in it. Buy something else for the road
Then
trip.
why would you even own it? Buy the Infiniti. It's
Frankly.
a lot more comfortable place to be. So for me,
Yeah.
there's a better balance. It's still got enough of a heart of an edge.
You buy something else if you want your luxury car. You want to drive a sports car? That's a sports car. That's my favorite one
This
by
is
far.
the hot valedictorian, but she still wears mini skirts and works at a bar.
Where did you just go?
If this is just some fun little sports car for you, look elsewhere. But if you're an enthusiast and you want a really fun driving experience, something you can look forward to, I think the RX-8 is a strong contender.
So you end up with a car that is like nothing else, inside, outside, under the hood, and from every angle. Now, if that's you, there will be no other car that will make you happy. But if you don't get it, don't even come near it.
And my favorite thing about the Genesis Coupe is the styling and the engine. But beyond that, I would never own one of these cars.
Yet it's very organic and tossable. And in many ways, this feels like the spiritual successor to the 300ZX. The 370 got even more hardcore, and the G37 got even more luxurious. And somewhere in the middle, this car is a bit of both.
The Infiniti is my favorite. I love this car because it combines so many things well. You can carve up the canyons as well as taking this on a long cross-country trip, and you're going to be very, very happy.
The G37 does a great job of being an all-in-one, of actually being a luxurious car you could take on a road trip and a fun sports car when you need it to be.